Hello out there in Twitch land. The time on the clock reads 10:30 a.m. Pacific. It is Wednesday. It is dark, so let me fix that. So, because of those two things I just said, we're going to be messing around and prepping for Starfinder using Fantasy Grounds. Just need to do a quick check. Still in the noob phase of the whole streaming bit, so I want to make sure sound and everything is working. Yay, it is awesome. Recently did a stream for a couple hours. Had no sound at all. Not from me, not from anybody else. So just wanted to make sure. So if you've been watching any of the other streams I've done, you know that my Starfinder group right now is running around this city of Istamak. There's a Here we go. The whole point, we're in the Dead Suns adventure path, which is the first one ever written for Starfinder, and we are on book 4. They are level 9. They're slightly a little bit ahead of where they should be level wise, but that's because they took a little detour. So they're chasing after the Cult of the Devourer. The Cult of the Devourer is trying to find the Stellar Degenerator, which is a weapon that can destroy suns, and thus the solar system that the sun is in, millennia old, way, way before the gap, and extremely powerful. So, long story short, skipping a lot of pertinent information, you can go back to other my streams. You can also check us out on Sunday night, by the way. We are here at 5:30 to 8 Pacific time. A couple hours and a half. Come check us out and see what we're doing. So they're here on this island of Istamak. It's a floating island above a giant gas giant. I know it's redundant, but planet made from gas, and they are supposed to be going to this place called the Maze of Ghosts, which they did, and then go to the House of Renewal, which will then grant them entry, or at least they've been told, to over here at the Temple Found. The cult people came, went into the temple, took what they wanted, and left, made everybody angry. So now the temple has been blocked off by the group of people living up here, so that to find another way in to the temple, they have to go to those two locations. After going to the Maze of Ghosts, they then spent a long rest where they've been staying here at the Cloudside condominiums, and then started exploring the city. They went up here. They spent quite a long time here at the medical center, and they've searched every building in between. Now the party is here, just outside the Field of Honor. In the Field of, and right now they're in the middle of a fight, which is one of the random encounters that provided in the book. The map isn't, but the rabid beasts are, and so they're coming, and they're going to be fighting these guys over here. They are lovely little creatures called rabid yohai. Look like that. But the big question is, after they finish this Field of Honor, are they going to go to the House of Renewal? They say they're probably going to. There was some discussion between two of the players last night. Last time we played, the third player was gone. So more than likely they will, but there is a small chance they won't. They were talking about going north to here and then to here and here, these three places. Um, and of course, there's nothing in the book on those. Uh, and I don't want to just hand wave it and say there's nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Let's get back to the story. Uh, I easily could, but I don't think that it's um, that's really the right thing to do in this case. So I'm preparing some other encounters and preparing some other things. One of which is called the laboratory. So I have this map here. Um, this map could be used. I was going to use it here because I had presumed they were here, so I presumed they were gonna then make their way this way. But the nice thing about homebrew, because at this point it's gonna be homebrew, is we can put it anywhere we want. So this laboratory could be here. It could be this building as well. So it really just depends on where they want to go and what they want to do. Um, I want to have a couple encounters just in case they do decide, instead of going to the House of Renewal, if they decide to go somewhere else. This is the House of Renewal. So if we get a full-size map like this blows it up really big. This is for the player's map. If you hold down Control and left click, you can then drag the size of your window to whatever you want it to be. Right click, move over to resize, which is at 3 o'clock, and then straight. I like preferred horizontal, although you can do vertical. Horizontal, boom, it fits it for you. Now this is the player's map, so I am going to eventually cover it with the Fog of War, but this gives you an idea of what the House of Renewal looks like. Um, and you can go through, there's pins everywhere when they made this, and so the first time that they have to worry about anything is here in the waiting area. So there is an encounter in the waiting area of a couple warriors. I think I'm gonna boost that up because these guys, this is a CR6 fight. There's no way that this is gonna be any kind of fight, any kind of challenge. It's not worth their time at all. I'm gonna boost these, double these guys. Still not gonna be a challenge, but at least it'll be a little something. Um, so by placing them there, I can see where they are by pressing on this down arrow. If you're familiar with D&D and Fantasy Grounds, to be honest, D&D was 5e was out in Fantasy Grounds for a couple years before Starfinder came out, and their main developer behind behind Starfinder, the person who was doing most of the work, um, was got to a certain point and then ended up getting very sick. And then it wasn't until after the Kickstarter for Unity and they were able to then bring on someone else to take over. So it sat there at a certain point for a good year with nothing being done to it. And now they've made some huge strides. So while it's not quite where 5e is as far as being all the coding and all the stuff, Starfinder is so much more complicated, and they've made it is phenomenal now. It is so much better. The Starship combat is great. The companion way they do companions now um, is phenomenal. They just did a really good job of getting this stuff ready to go and ready to be used. So we're gonna stick these four guys waiting for their friend to come down and put them here. So now, because we added them into the combat tracker, we just need to remove them from the combat tracker. Kish, kish, kish. All right. Anyway, so that's what the house renewal looks like. They pretty much have to come into this room first. There aren't any other encounters for a while uh, until down here, but in order to get down here, they have to go up through here and then down here. Um, they're somewhat herded through this thing. They should check the supply closet, but then this is the only way they can go. Everything else is blocked. They have to go through here. They have to come in here. So this is really the only time they have any kind of choice of going into the main encounter or these three smaller places. And the clue that they're looking for is in one of these two, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right. So the house renewal is done. I'm confident that if they just go straight to the house renewal after this fight, I've got enough content prepared and ready to go. If they go anywhere else beyond that, I am not quite prepared. So what I want to do is I want to look through my images real quick and see if I have any other buildings. I've spent some time searching. I am a Patreon for a map builder and a map drawer. He's really good. Named Pog S, P-O-G, capital S, and he does some really good maps. Um, and so what I want to do is I want to look through the images that I have to see if there's anything here that is going to be of use. Let me switch my camera real quick. And instead of making it just Fantasy Grounds, let's make it yeah, that works. I'll do that for now. All right, so you can see here all the different maps that I have. I have an Alien Swamp, Blood Temple, Command Room, a Crash Site, Destroyed Outpost, all right, so I'm also going to, let's double check and see. So if you go to your Fantasy Grounds, this can be a little tricky to find, but the way you do it is if you go into your, so start Fantasy Grounds before you actually get into the program, Classic, there's a little folder symbol. Click on that and that'll open up a page that looks like this. You can then copy and paste this top line, and that way you know where your Fantasy Grounds is, or you can pin it like I did over here, so I now know where it is. But once you're there, you can I go to campaigns. The one I'm working with is called Engage. That's my sci-fi one. And then images. All right, so I don't have a lot of those other ones in here. I have Command Room, Destroyed Outpost, Docking Bay. Okay, I do have some of them. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and close this down. I'm going to pull up my other screen. Let's switch this back to Fantasy Grounds. All right, so this is the map area that they're dealing with right now in Instamac. I'm going to pull up my images. Now these are ones I've added, so they're uncategorized. And I want to look at some of these to see, again, control, drag, resize, horizontal. All right, so this is great in that it looks like they're hovering over a gas giant. So there's a section to the upper part of the maps. Why isn't this working? I'm going to put bridge. Call that the bridge when it's, there we go. All right, so see this area up here. Um, okay, so they are eventually going to go to one of the locations here and in the Broken Lands. Um, but, all right, so I'll keep this sort of in my pocket um, to be used. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through the process right now because this isn't a picture manipulation, but I'm going to make a note to flip this around so that the image, so that the gas giant portion will be up in the corner instead of down in the bottom corner. And it's called Bug-a-Nose Jump. So that when I do need it, I can have it and it'll look closer to what the real map is. All right, so that's Bug-a-Nose Jump, not bad. Let's take and see command room. So this one is a smaller room. Again, see Poggas Props is the person who made these maps, and resize, adjust. So it's a nice map. It's got all this different interesting things. So this would be a good like underground place that they would stumble onto. Um, so changing this up here, if you have it ID'd, then they see this room, this name when you share it to the players. If it's unidentified, it shows them this name. So I like to have something there instead of just unidentified map. All right, so I'm going to minimize this puppy. By the way, you right click and minimize up here. So it's easily accessible. So this would actually be really good for this right here. So we're going to open it back up and we're going to drop this guy. There it is. Wait until your cursor becomes a hand, and then you can drag it, boom, and now it's there. So I at least have a map. I can pull some robots or um, something like that if I want to throw them in there. So I've got that. Now we're going to go through destroyed outpost. Obviously, this doesn't have to be a destroyed outpost. Resize horizontal. So this could be anywhere. So there's a big rock face here and some smaller rocks and it looks like jungle. Minimize it. So let's see if we can't look around. If they decide to go into the hunting grounds, then I think I'll throw that map there. So let's see. I also have the map here as well. Okay, so let's put you down here. There we go. So again, I can always populate it last minute if I need to, stuff like that. If I want to do that. All right, let's see. Hold on a second. Um, all right, so we're throwing a couple of different maps on there. This way, at this stage, if they're in here, there's just some creatures, and I can pull from maybe even more of these EO-high that uh, that they're fighting now. Up here in this command center, I can just pull robots, undead. So at least I have maps ready to go, and I don't have to sit there and waste time looking for this stuff as it happens. Um, the docking bay is like a sunken circle. I remember this map. Don't really see anywhere where that might go. At least up in here in this corner. Um, yeah, so I'm not going to worry about the docking bay right now. And that's pretty much it, except for the laboratory. Um, do I have a ruined block? Do I have that? Oh, okay, yeah. So this is a one I already have set up. Um, what was the creature? Yeah, so I have a big creature. This is one I already made. Where did I put this guy? So he's... Did I put him anywhere on the map already? Because this is a nice encounter. I just don't remember if I put it there. Let me check one thing. Alright, so this is a really nice little encounter, but doesn't look like I put it anywhere. I may have just kept it blank. But the problem with that is, let's see, is this it? No, that's empty court. So let's put him on the map here then. I can always move it later. So we're just going to throw this puppy ruined block down. I'll just put it like right here in the middle here, and that way I can, maybe I'll throw it up here. I know they're going to go up here at some point, so I'll throw it up here. So there's a couple different places where we have ruined block. So this is an encounter already done and ready to go. Um, except for this. All right, so the spaceport has ships. The space barracks is way too pristine. Um, and so all on these two station ones as well. Trash compactor, let's see. This is another round one. Maybe I'll put it with the other one. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is looks like it's a lower level of the one we had before. So this would be a really nice place for some creatures or some um, deranged robots or stuff like that. I'm just gonna put compact trash. That's fine. Um, yeah, so let's put him with up here with the command room. So if they do make it up here, then maybe they'll have a couple of these to look at. In theory, they'll go to the House of Renewal, they'll get the clue they need to go up to the Broken Lands and then over to the temple and be done. We can get out off of Ismac. But hey, I want to be ready in case they don't. All right, so those are my maps. I don't know why I keep barrel door here. Um, okay, talking bay. Yep. What's the drone? Oh, that's right. It's drawing. Okay, so now that I have thing, I want to get one other. We've been here about half an hour. I want to get look at this. So let's start. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a story entry for the laboratory. We just did the medical center, which had a big, long thing, um, several encounters, a whole storyline, things like that. Um, this is going to be similar in that if they decide to come here, so I'm looking to see, I'll just do it this way. I'll type medical. So 3.11.1, okay? All right, so exploring Istamak is where I put it. Oh, here we go. I already had a laboratory. Look at that. And then hunting ground randomness. Okay, so I'm already ahead of the game. Um, so here's the laboratory. Good. So now I've got these things. What I want to do then, is I need to do rather, is put these out. Let's minimize this. So this is the map. So let's put the map. Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm going to give myself a couple extra lines. Here's the laboratory. So what you can do is you just drag the pencil symbol over, maybe. Boom. So now you have the map embedded in the story. And so I don't need the map out here. What I need is the story entry. So I'll put the story entry onto the building where I thought they might go. I'll also stick it here because this might be the second place I decide to use that for. All right, so now I have the story entry linked instead of just the map, like I did here. The medical center is the storyline. So in this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 areas and a stairwell, so 12. 13 if you count the little foyer, 14 if you count this little courtyard. So there's all different areas of where they could encounter things, have story entries, that type of thing. I don't want this to be multi-level. It's going to take up too much room as it is. So besides being obviously destroyed, the biggest thing that jumps out on this map is the humongous pile of skeletons. So the question we need to ask is, and it's also leading to the outside, what kind of skeletons do we want these to be? And do we want it, um, what do we want it to represent? Because that will set the mood for the rest of the place. So I think we're going to go with undead here. And I think we're going to go with so the theme will be the undead. You've got a bathroom, huge bathroom here. You've got what looks like a nice office here with a rug. Um, like little cubicles here and here. Is that what that is? Yes. You've got a dead body here. So some stairs. Let's see. Not sure what this giant thing is here in the center. It's huge. It's 25 feet long. Okay, so starting to get some ideas. If we can have, definitely want undead here. We want some undead coming out of here. Maybe some large conglomeration of some sort of beast or something. Horror, aberration type thing from there. Um, maybe spirits, incorporeal creatures. Might even just have like ghosts sitting in here eating, or here where they can't be seen. I mean, they can be seen, but they cannot be heard, and they cannot hear the players. So they just have like people working here at the cubicles, getting up, taking notes, papers and stuff, and they step out of the room to go deliver a pile of papers. It disappears, that type of thing. Just sort of like the haunted mansion, Disney's haunted mansion type thing. I like that idea for the queue. So first thing we need to do is pull out our tokens. There are lots of free tokens available. Um, most of the campaigns also have tokens. This one does not, but some of them have the alphabet. Um, but I've got several of them. I think it's 3. Yeah, so 3 is my futuristic one. So let's go ahead and get these labeled. So that reminds me, this does not have a grid. So we will remove this guy and set a grid. So we come down. If you're not familiar with setting a grid, what I try to do is I try to start somewhat in the middle. There's two ways of doing this. Up in the corner, and hoping it fits, um, or going in the middle if it doesn't quite fit, and then hoping it fits close to where it is, and adjusting it as you need to. But there's also some software you can use that will change the actual map itself when they're gridded. The best way is not have a gridded map. If you can find a map that doesn't have the grids already on it, within the embedded in a picture, that's always the best way to go. All right, so anyway, we don't have that luxury right here. So what I'm looking for is more than just location. I'm looking for a good solid square, not covered by any kind of drawing. So I'm going to go with this one right here. Right click, layers, and set the grid. So I go here, and the more you mess with this, the more you do it, the more proficient you will be at it. And let's see, it's a little higher than I wanted it to be. So if you see, the upper right corner is up, it's already touching the other thing. Um, Also, the numbers typically work better if they're even. So right now it's 33. So I want to go for like 32 or 34. 34 is too big, I can tell you that now. Maybe 33 is going to be where I have to go. Let's try 32. All right, here we go. All right, so now we've got the grid drawn. Like I said, it was a little higher and to the left than I wanted, so we're going to move it. So if we bring this, toggle the toolbar, click on the toggle grid toolbar, you can then move it slightly. So we're going to click and click. So now it's right where we want it to be on this particular square. Now we zoom out, go all the way far across the other side, see how we're doing. This is really, really close to where we want it. It's off a bit here. All right, so it is a little bit bigger. Looks like we're gonna have to go with 32. So it's off a little bit there. So we're gonna make it smaller, and that's gonna jack everything up when you do that. But don't freak out, it's okay. Now you just need to slide it over and down and fix it. So we're going it down, and then we bring it over. All right, so that made it a lot worse. So the smaller is not going to work. I'm bringing it up twice. I may have to go with the map align software and fix it, because if the image itself does not have perfectly square, yeah, so the bigger, I went up twice, so I'm back down to 33. If the image itself doesn't have perfect grid squares, then you have to use this thing called map align um, to make them square. um, okay, so this is okay. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. You can see up all through here, it's aligned just fine. When you get down here, it is off a little bit, but all you need to do when they get to that point is just click, and they're there, and they're aligned. So it's not so bad that if they're in this big area here, or if they're in this whole front area here, it looks bad in that whole area. So I'm good with where it is. We're gonna find some sort of happy medium here. There you go. Okay, so I do all that. Now that we've got the grid, we can now label the rooms. I know this is probably messing up with a lot of people. I wouldn't have put the F there. I would have put the F here. Why did you go all the way down and not over? Um, I'm just going as I feel it. And not every room is going to have stuff in it. That's a mistake I made early on, where it's just it starts off pretty cool, and after a while you're like, man, are we ever going to be done with this laboratory? Um, and it gets old. I don't like it down here. I'm going to move it up here. All right, so now last thing is the M and the N. The M and the N. All right, so now we've got everything noted with where it is and what they are. And I want to look and see. I don't think I have rubble. I do have asteroids and I have mold. I had a rock. Did I lose the rock? Because what I want is, where's my items? I want to have a cave in on the stairway. All right, so I don't have my rubble anymore. So I'll need to find I don't think he has rubble in this token set, especially not when I don't have the whole set. Okay, so the problem with my asteroids is that they have black around them. So, as you zoom in, that's what they look like. It doesn't really look like rubble when you throw a bunch of them on there. So we're just going to delete these until I can get a better one, or I can just say, hey, it's covered in rubble. You can also, while it is cheesy, it works. If you click here in drawing mode, you can just say, oh, look at all this rubble, look at all the rubble. So, lots of different options when you're working with fancy grounds to what you can do. You can also access the drawing from right click and drawing down here. It does the same thing, gives you the drawing mode. So, okay, so I don't have the rubble I wanted, so we'll worry about that later. We're gonna have to do something for these steps here as well. Actually, no, that's a catwalk right there. So it goes up to this catwalk. Okay, that's cool. So when we get to A, we'll need to remember to put the catwalk there. I might have a sniper up there just shooting at him. Boink, boink, boink. Pretty cool. Still don't know what this is. Oh, it's a truck. Okay. It's a truck in front of a big doors getting ready to leave. Gotcha. Okay. This has a ladder going on top of these tall. Okay. So these are like containers with a ladder. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, this is a tall room in here anyway. Okay. All right, so now we have an idea of what we want to do. Let's take a look and see, take a look at some of our NPCs. Get an idea of some of the undead we might want to use. So the type we want are construct and undead, but for now we're going to use undead. All right, so an emotivore is, so I'm looking for the CR pretty much right now. That's good. He's a shape changer. I don't know if the shape changer will work, but we'll think about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw some of these as in here, and if you hit Control 2, that changes it to a heading. And I'm just going to throw some of these in here. Boom. And with the CR next to it. 9. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. How much is a Techomancer? Techomancer is CR3. Okay. I could boost him up and make him stronger though, so I'll throw him in here with 3 next to it, but I'm not real worried about that. Bone Trooper Captain is an 8. There we go. So we can put him as 8. And my people are 8s as well. 8 and 9. Let's see, they are 9s. Level 9. So they have yet to have anyone even go unconscious in one of their fights. So a cybernetic zombie. Now that's pretty cool. He's CR3, but we could definitely corpse folk operative is 3. I like the idea of a cybernetic zombie. We just need to boost that up because I'm pretty sure that will have a 13. There we go. Drifted and amalgam. That's 13. That's something they could fight. One of our mastermind is a 17. Okay. Okay. A little too much. Ghost is 7. There we go. A couple of them, those guys in there. Ghouls are pretty low, like 5. Oh no, this one is 1. Okay. Shock Trooper. Nice. He's 11. Okay. Marblight, they just fought. A Necrovite. They have fought. Oh, okay. He's 13. That's a good one. Have them fight another one of those. So if we hit Control 1, that makes it regular text instead of a link. You don't have to. I just the way I like to do it. I like to get rid of that little symbol. Skeletal undead. That seems rather vague. Okay. An occult zombie. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the copy just because I want to. Which one is this from? Archive 3. Is it Zemitzel? I don't remember them. Wow. He's a 19? It says it was from the third one, but We never fought that. All right. Varkalok Marauder is a 2, and a Noble is a 12. Vorthul is a 10. A Mortrans is a 7. I want to see what these things look like. Oh, it's already, so Zarantha, that's her name. Zarantha Mortran, okay. And Zero Vesh, we already fought. Alright, so here, how big is the Vorthul? Vorthul is 10. So that gives us some ideas, something to work with when we're looking at setting up an encounter, like for these guys. So before I forget, I also want to um, make a note to myself about K being the All right, and I'm back. Working at home and with everybody else at home in the house, sometimes the stuff happens. So appreciate your patience. Thank you for sticking around. Like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe um, and come hang out with me on Wednesdays when we do Starfinder. As I said at the top of the show, 10:30. Ask me any questions you want. If you want to know how to code things, I'm going to get into that just here in a couple minutes. As soon as I finish my reminder to myself. Um, so come hang out, say hello. So I'm putting a note to myself to remind myself that K is going to have ghosts. Ghostly figures work in the cubicles. And then may not type it all out, but I'm going to go into a typical work day. So like one of them will get up and go talk to a male, go up and talk to a female, hanging over the cubicle wall and holding a cup of coffee type thing and talking to them. And then um, another one will get up and go take a report or a file or something, a disk drive, something out. And when they leave, another one will come back in with some sort of bowl, uh, eating stuff, and sit back down. So I'm gonna make it like an office with ghosts that can't leave this room. That don't leave them. When they leave, they disappear. Um, so that's K. That gives me an idea of what to do. All right, so now we're going to take a quick break from this. Now I have enough to work with if all else fails and they go completely off the rails from where they should be going. I have maps, I have possible NPCs to grab, um, and so I'm ready to go with that. So what I've been working on are my characters, getting them so that their powers and such are ready to be used in their actions page and how to code those things. So let's take a look at Serena here. So she has the enhanced resistance we've done, the proficiencies and the skill focuses are done, spring attack. Can move up to speed, make a single attack. So this doesn't actually be coded beyond a reminder of what it does. So normally you can only move before or after an attack. This allows you to move both before and after the attack. And alright, so there's spring attack. Toughness, I'm pretty sure we've done. Weapon specialization, okay. So I want to make sure that we have the stamina correct. Nice thing about Starfinder is every race, every class has a set amount of stamina and hit points. So it should be very easy to determine Serena's information. So she should have, I'm gonna open up a note real quick. I should have a miscellaneous. And I do, so we're gonna get rid of these. All right, so for her, we don't care about her hit points. What we're looking at, toughness gives you stamina. So she is a drow elf. So the drow elf let's look it up here in race. Drow hit points is 4, so it only gives you the hit points. Okay, so her stamina is based on her classes. She has 2 classes. One is operative, the other is Solarian. So we're going to start with the operative first. And as an operative, she gains 6 plus her constitution modifier every level. So 6, her constitution modifier is 3. So she gets 9 per level. So that's 9 times, she is 5. So that's 45. And then as a Solarian, she gets 7. So she gets 10 per level for that. And she's a level 4. So that's 40, 85, plus 9 would only be 94, and it shows her at 103. So I'm not sure where the extra thing is. I'm sure I'm missing something, but the point is she does have enough. Stamina. All right, so that's good. So we don't have to worry about toughness. I'm not going to bother coding the rest of it because those are very specific situations. I think I'll just make a toughness in the combat tracker so that it shows that she has toughness here. And then that will remind us to look it up later. All right, so that's all of her feats. These other things she should have. Nope, so that should need to be coded as well. All right, so we need to put this light blindness in there as well. Okay, so she has everything else coded already. So if we go to her actions, she has her damage reduction, her trick attack, her uncanny mobility and evasion for being an operative. As a Solarian, she has her sidereal influence and her gravity boost already done. Alright, so gravity boost is jump, climb, or swim. Okay, so we need to put, okay. So we have feats, an operative, and a Solarian. Why does it say 7? It should just be operative. Okay. So we have two things that have to do with her being a drow. Her spring attack is a feat. Toughness is a feat. So under feat, we open this up. So we're going to add 2 more. So we're going to make it 3. This is toughness. Double click it. There's going to be a lot of repetition here. So the toughness is, here we go. We'll just put this here. Harsh conditions / exertions don't tire you. And then we're going to simply add. So if we go here, right click, go to add ability action, and it's going to be an effect. It's just going to show up on to herself. You can also change that here. And all we're doing is just adding toughness with no, it never goes away, and there is no length of time that it lasts. And so, poof, it's now there, toughness. So that'll just remind us it exists, she has it, and hopefully we won't forget it when those one-off situations come up. So spring attack is also a feat. Again, all we're doing is putting it in her on the combat effect tracker. Alright, so now you move up to a foe, strike, before it reacts. Move, attack, move, without attack of opportunity. And the two things I didn't do with the thing I didn't do with toughness here is to fill in here. So this is the source. Let's see, is feat. That's where it comes from. It's not class. It is a combat feat. Doesn't matter. Level doesn't matter. So what we're doing here is just taking all of this, putting it there. So I do this because I don't like not knowing, having to dig around to find more information about this. If I want to know what it really does, I just click on this. Now it's here. And then the other thing I'm doing, so same thing I did before, right click, add an effect. I'll open it this way. Now click it to make it self. This is a spring attack. And this is just flavor text. So I'm pretty much going to do the same thing. Move, attack, move, with no attack of opportunity. Never, and there is no duration, and never expends. Boom. So now we're going to open up toughness. Go back to her feats, pull it out. Put all the details here. So now on her, she can look at this from her actions page or from her feeds page. This is source is a feat. So it's listed in the combat tracker. So during fights, other times it's there, it's active, she can see it. All right, so it's been over an hour. If you're still with me, thank you so much, especially with the couple different pauses I had to make. Um, Next time when we come back, we'll be checking out some other coding for some of the other characters. We'll have a better idea now of where they want to go. Are they going to go into the House of Renewal, or are they going to go wander the city some more? So that's what we'll be doing. We'll either be making more combat or fixing that up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish these up real quick. So this is going to be racial. See what I did over here in the feats spells. Okay. You can close these, by the way, boom, like that. All right, so we're going to make one more down here for racial. Right now, the number of sections is going to be 2. This is going to be character. It shouldn't matter. For the levels, it shouldn't matter. Character. Okay, so close this up. So the first thing is going to be her drow immunities. Again, all this is going to be is a description within the hold on a second. The source is drow race. Oh, up here it's going to be drow. I don't know why I didn't already fill that. Immunities. Okay. So we right click, we go here, we go to add effect, open, self, drow. I'm not going to put immunity. She already has a lot of stuff in her combat tracker. Immune to sleep. Sorry about that. I forget that my plus is set as a hotkey for my stream. All right, sleep +2. Versus enchantments. So again, this is just click, you add it to her. And we're going to do the same thing. We'll put, I'm actually just going to copy it from down here. Holding shift to highlight, copy and paste. Close, close. Last thing is light blindness. Now this one's a little bit trickier because it imposes an effect. So again, since you are bright light, well, I don't have a way of doing it anywhere else. So bright light equals blind slash dazzled. So we then open it. Open it. Source is drow race. Man, that was way too hard. All right, now you have to open it in order to select it. All right, so now we're going to add another one. Right click, add ability, effect. So we have to do two because one lasts one round and the other one is stays. So this is going to be herself. Duration is round. Fixed is one. It's one round. Description, blinded. Blinded. Check the things here. So these are capitalized. So I'm going to go ahead and put as capitalized. And I always like to have, so this is light blindness. I always like to explain why these things are showing up. Blinded, and I'm trying to remember if it's supposed to be a colon or a semicolon. I'm going to leave it as a colon for now, and we will give it a shot. So let's add this to herself, and then she's going to attack. Okay, so let's make it a semicolon. Blinded. All right, so that shows us that it's supposed to be semicolon. So we'll change this. Semicolon. And then we will remove it because right now, although she is in bright light, that aspect, as she stepped out, she was blinded, and now she's not. But she is dazzled. So again, we're going to put self light blindness colon semicolon dazzled semicolon dazzled. And this does not have a so her effect is a -1 because she's dazzled. And if you, so I have the conditions from the book as a hotkey down here. And if you go down to, you're unable to see well because of overstimulation of your eye, take a -1 penalty to attack and perception. So just out of curiosity, let's see if that works. It does, -1. Nice. Okay. So we are done with her. So this is here. So now, if you notice here, a couple of these say off. So when she goes away from the outside, she can just click this to off. And then when she goes back outside, turn it back on. So All right, so that is how we code effects, semicolon, and this way. So she has a lot of things in her combat tracker, as you can see. A lot of them are to remind you, but like with light blindness, some of them actually do things. So she is done, I believe. I will double check her over the next couple days. Let's go ahead and fix this, my camera. Deactivate, activate. There we go. I'm back. All right, so I don't know how long I was paused for, but uh, so I'll double check her stuff, but she should be completely done now. As a Solarian, as a Drow, as a operative especially, there are a lot of different things that she can do, which makes her a lot of fun to play, but also takes up a lot of room in the combat tracker and stuff. I'm going to be going through and doing this with the rest of the group. So I've done it for some of them, like with you can see here, some of them are here. Uh, Five-O is mostly done. He has a lot of things as well because he is a soldier. Um, and then as Mystic, she has her stuff. Um, so those are different ways to code things. And next time we will take a look at a couple other people, make sure they're all ready to go. So again, thank you so much. It's been a long one, almost an hour and a half this time. I appreciate your patience. Um, Hopefully you learned something. Stop by, say hello um, next time I'm on, which is Wednesday, or come watch how this all plays out, see how we use these in the game on Sunday at 5:30 Pacific time. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and please enjoy the rest of your day.